months back, the good folks at Vega-Trem sent me one of their VT1 Ultra Trems to try out on this Stratocaster. It was actually on my list of things to check out anyway because it seems to tick a lot of boxes in theory and concept. As much as I loved this guitar when I bought it from Japan, the bridge on it was a little unstable. It had these worn out 30-year-old die-cast saddles, and even though I'm quite adept at floating a non-locking tremolo, I was still having trouble keeping stability. Now, I'm not interested in creating puff pieces for gear placement, and I've certainly turned down a number of things that I just wasn't interested in spruiking for people, but the guys at Vega-Trem were very cool in just sending this tremolo for me to look at with no talking points or editorial oversight. They just wanted me to have a look and say whatever I like about it. So if you've never seen the Vega-Trems before, they occupy the same space as the previous tremolo, but instead of pivoting off 6 screws or 2 posts, there are actually 2 parts to the tremolo: a base plate that screws down onto the body using the existing holes, and then a floating part that is balanced between the tension of the springs and the tension of the strings. There's no complex process to floating the tremolo, and it doesn't need to sit up at a funny angle because it's already designed to work within the space available to you on your guitar. The bar itself is a push-in with a collar lock, and I found this to be a really good fit, and also the thread on the collar seemed to be a lot more reliable than some of the cheaper Floyd Rose units I've used, like the 1000 or the Special series. It took about 20 minutes for me to take out the old trem, put this one in, balance it with the springs and the string tension, and there are actually 4 sets of springs that are supplied with the tremolo. You just pick the one that's the relevant tension for you. And for this one, I chose the light tension springs. It uses 2 of them. I normally always lubricate contact points like the nut and the string trees, and I suggest still doing that with the Vega, just so that you're ruling out any issues that might be inherent to your guitar, not staying in tune or not returning to pitch anyway. Speaking of pitch, the intonation on this one came out of the box almost perfect. I probably spent about 5 minutes making small adjustments just to suit the gauge of strings I use. When I installed the trem and had my first go, I actually giggled a little bit about how easy it was to get a wide range of tremolo motions. Some of the things you can expect to be able to do on this tremolo include vibrato above and below the pitch of the note, dips and pre-dips, raising the pitch by a whole tone, minor third, even 2 whole tones. Flutters. Dive bombs. So I've been using the VT1 almost every day for the last 2 months, and I have to say it's probably the best guitar mod I've ever implemented, even more than pickups. Well, it's a lot more fun anyway. But to give you a balanced point of view, here are some things to consider to see if it's the right product for you. Price. Depending on the territory you're in, the Vega might run up as high as double the price of a standard Fender tremolo, for example. That's a higher barrier of entry, but I do think the value is there in what the tremolo can do. If you don't use your existing tremolo that much because it's been unreliable for you, then you're not really comparing apples to apples if you do that on price alone. Access. Now, if you do a lot of volume knob stuff like Jeff Beck or Yngwie on a Strat, the height of the tremolo bar and also its proximity to the Strat volume knob might prove to give you a little less room to work to do those volume swells. So keep that in mind. On the flip side, the tremolo itself is far less bulky than bigger units like Floyd Rose or Ibanez Edge tremolos. Functionality, I think this is what makes the Ultra Trem a winner in terms of what you can do. The biggest disappointment after playing one for a while is how your other tremolos feel when you switch guitars. The responsiveness is really easy to get used to, and the consequence of that is now my other tremolos feel quite stiff by comparison. So if poor tremolo stability or lack of range of motion has been something you've been battling against and you're willing to invest a little money to overcome it, I definitely recommend the Vega stuff. I don't really see anything out there doing the same thing that's easy to fit, doesn't require any drilling or filling. And, you know, once you solve the basic problem of tremolo stability, you might just find that it not just solves a problem, but actually adds a new dimension to what you do. Thanks for watching. Check out some other videos before you go anywhere.